Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni has accused the United Nations of conserving terrorism in Africa. Fellas, this is no joke. President of Uganda, Yoweri Museveni, a military soldier, trained soldier, very strong in his mind, has accused the United Nations of conserving terrorism in Africa for their own purpose. This is massive. Okay, this is massive. I mean, people talk about countries accuse other countries, but accusing the United Nations of conserving terrorism in African nations, African countries, sort of playing with wars and stuff like that in Africa in order to perpetuate negative things. It's a big, big message. Okay, so the Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni has accused the United Nations of conserving terrorism in the Democratic Republic of Congo, breeding chaos in multiple countries in the Sahel. So he's saying what's happening in the Congo is one of the biggest factors is the United Nations. They actually want the mayhem in the Congo. For those of you who don't know, in the Congo, many people have lost their it's a very, very sad situation. Millions of people. More people than anything and more people than 1945, World War II in the Congo. Beautiful country, rich in minerals. And that was perhaps the curse of the country. Such a rich country. Gold, diamonds, lithium, everything, cobalt. Like everything you can think about. There aren't any other country as rich as the Congo, DRC. In terms of minerals, richest country in the world, but some of the poorest people in the world. Very sad. And a lot of them have to go abroad in different countries as refugees because of the mayhem they're living in every single day. Now, Yoweri Museveni says terrorism is being conserved in this country by the United Nations for their own purpose. Crazy stuff. On this occasion, he says, however, I want to congratulate the security forces, the UPDF of Uganda Police and Intelligence Services for successfully protecting the suspected people in Nyege, in Jinja. Okay, let me give you context. Uganda has every year a very big event. I believe it's called the Nyege, where many people come together, young people, old people, people that are, trying to have a good time, trying to meet people, trying to do casual, what I'm saying, and all that. People have a lot of fun, not just casual. Some people, I guess, get married there. I mean, it's one of those big festival, big, massive event, people coming from all over the world to have a good time in Uganda. And obviously, this brings money, brings tourism and a lot of advantages for many Ugandan people. However, for some reason, Britain sent some of his people to Uganda and asking British people not to go to Nyege. Yeah, Britain asked some British people not to go to Uganda. Do not go to Uganda. For what reason? Don't just go. Something may happen in Uganda. Now, President Museveni is not happy about that. And what he did was, they got the Ugandan security force to come together very strongly to surveil this event, to make sure it happens, but very safely. So they say, on this occasion, I want to congratulate, that's him talking, I want to congratulate the security forces of UPDF and the intelligence service for successfully protecting the people of Nyege in Jinja in their function was over a single, and with no single incident. This shows you the strength of the Ugandan security system to be able to guard such a long, pre-announced massive public function, the threat of terrorism now withstanding. So obviously, the British people say to the British citizens who were looking to attend Nyege, do not go because there's going to be some terrorist attack or some stuff like that. Now, Uganda is not happy because if there is anything like that, anybody has to announce anything like that, it should be them, not the British people. Now, let me remind you, Great Britain and Uganda right now are not seeing eye to eye. Okay, the United States of America and Uganda are not seeing eye to eye because of the laws that Uganda has voted very recently. We've spoken about this many times. I'm trying to avoid this because we're being sanctioned all the time. I have no idea why. Uganda voted a law where it prohibits men from being with other, you cannot do that in Uganda. Based on their culture, their tradition, it's prohibited. They voted a law saying if you come from another country, you come to Uganda to teach people how to do those practices. And by any chance, somebody gets infected by something. You know what I'm saying? Infected by what? You're going to be put to, yeah, that's what the law says through parliament. And the Western countries and nations expected President Museveni to refuse to pass that law that was voted in parliament. And parliament is the people of Uganda that vote. So Ugandans can choose whatever law that suits them. And the Western nation were not happy about it. They say you should allow men to marry other, you know what I mean? And Ugandans say this is not part of our culture. Uganda is a very spiritual country, let me say it this way. Many Christians, many Muslims, many traditional people who do not necessarily believe in that. So feeling that they're being forced into one direction, into accepting things that are not naturally theirs, they felt like it was necessary that they push back. The pushback was evident. And from that point on, the United States of America cut the aid they used to send to Uganda. I think it was about $300 million sent to Uganda. The aid was supposed to help people living with HIV. Yes. So the aid supposed to help people living with HIV to Uganda was stopped because President Museveni refused to stop the law that says men should not be with other. Yeah. So my question again here is, I'm not going to stop. My question is simple. If the money you used to send to Uganda was really to help people living with HIV, okay, why did you stop sending it? Because some individual in parliament choose to vote a law that prohibits men being with other. Why? I mean, how does the person living with HIV have anything to do with the law? They don't vote the law. So if you were really sending the money to help them, who are you hurting? Are you hurting the president, who's probably a millionaire, if not a billionaire in dollars? Or are you hurting the simple guy that you were supposedly helping in the past who lived with HIV? Let's be honest. So they say it is true that the pigs of the ADF, he calls them pigs. These are ADFs are rebels, are Ugandan rebels living in Congo. They cross the borders from time to time and come and do negative, very, very bad things. He says it's true that the pigs of the ADF in the Congo has sent a few infiltrators to try to disrupt the function. I hear that the panicking Americans and British sent out what they call advisories to their citizens not to come to Uganda. These are mistake makers. If the situation was so bad, it would be us to advise people not to come to Uganda, not the British or the American. We know what we are doing, always. So obviously, disrespect to the Ugandan people. How can you just come out there and say, well, you don't go to this event because something's going to happen? So Ugandans are not very happy about it. Especially the president himself, he said, no, it's for us to tell people not to come. It's not for you. It is not for you because we know what we're doing. He says part of the terrorism in Africa is either created or conserved by some of these actors that try to be global policemen. We all know who they're talking about, you know. Who are the global policemen? He says some of the terrorist attacks in Africa is either created or conserved. So it's either created or kept alive by some of the actors who try to be the police of the world. The chaos in Libya and the surrounding of the countries like Sahel, like Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, Nigeria, Chad, among others, was caused by some of these actors, President say. The terrorism conservation project in Eastern Congo for the past 20 years. Terrorism in the Congo for the past 20 years, he says, is by the United Nations and which is controlled by the Council. He said, some of these actors are controlling this. It is undemocratic. Fellas, this is crazy. I'm not going to go through the whole speech of the president. You can go through Twitter and probably read for yourself the long tweet that he made. So basically, Uganda was having a party, big party called Nyege Nyege, where a lot of people come and have a good time. People from Kenya, Congo, Burundi, USA, Canada come to Nyege Nyege. Big party ever. Unbelievable. There's a great culture of dancehall in Uganda. Amazing. If you've never experienced, I suggest you go have a look. Really, really nice. Now, this event happens, I believe, once a year. Big event. And the British sent some of their people to come tell some of the, to discourage British people from going to Uganda for the reason that we're not explained. So basically, they're going to be terrorist attack. Do not go there. And President of Uganda is not happy about that. He says the reason why some of spaces in Africa are still in terror is because of you. He didn't say the name, but it's you, some of these actors, polices of the world. Who are the policemen of the world? We all know. So he says, it's for us. Even if the things were bad, it's for us to tell the people not to come. And it's for us to take care of the situation. And he said, I congratulate my security forces for doing a tremendous job. Not one incident happened. So they knew people from ADF, these are the terrorists or the rebels, the opposition to the Ugandan government that are stationed somewhere in the forest in the Congo. They cross from time to time, creating mayhem. He said, we know they sent some of the people to come here to create mayhem, but our security forces were on guard. Even though Britain had the courage or the guts or whatever to say whatever they said, they were not allowed to do that because they are the problem of Africa. How do you feel about this, fellas? President Museveni accusing the United Nations, because we know 20 years now, the United Nations force have been in the Congo they've been allowed to use everything they have to finish rebels and armed group. In the Congo, there's over 100 armed groups in the Congo, creating terror and mayhem. Okay, the United Nations sent a force. This force collects a lot of money every year, billions of dollars. But for 20 years, they've been stationed. They've been unable to dislodge these people. Now, my question is this. If you're making billions of dollars in a country where you're supposed to come liberate, you make billions of dollars, will you stop your billions of dollars because you can achieve your mission, or you're going to drag it for as long as you like? It's crazy, right? It's crazy. He said in Sahel, so we're talking about Mali, Burkina Faso. He says it's the United Nations that are creating this mayhem. They are creating the terrorism. This is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Let me know how you feel about this before we close. This is again a sign of disrespect. The same thing happened in South Africa a while back, where the United States of America's ambassador came forward with a statement saying that there is a bomb. There could be a bomb, an explosion in Sandton. Sandton is the richest area in Africa with the most millionaires. One of the richest places in South Africa. So imagine the U.S. embassy coming with with news saying, well, they're going to be bombing in Sandton. Be careful. Instead of going through the normal avenues, meaning speaking to the South African people, speaking to the South African security forces, giving them the intelligence and the information and the origin of the intelligence, so they could deal with their own situation because it's their country, violating all the protocols. President himself of South Africa was not happy about that. And he made a speech. He said, we're not happy. We would have appreciated the American people, partners here, speak to us. Tell us what you got. Don't come and say to our people not to go to Sandton because they're going to be bombing. There should be a level of respect. Do you think an African country can go to USA and say, well, they're going to be bombing here without consulting the proper people? Absolutely not. They will never do that. They will close the embassy. So why can't you just go to Uganda and say, oh, well, don't go there because unless the problem is something else. Ugandan people wanting to preserve their tradition. Ugandan people wanting to be themselves, not to be moved left, right, center. Thank you very much, fellas. It's always a great pleasure. Let me know how you feel about this. Is this a good move from President Yoweri Museveni? Is this a way to make yourself respected? To what level would you let people push you around? When do you start reacting? When do you start your pushback? Is pushback necessary for respect? God bless.